Okay, let's talk about books related to battles and events during the Seminole War. Uh, the problem with these is a lot of them are out of print. If the author has passed away, they get harder to find, and some of them I've seen on eBay. The author was selling them, and that only lasted for a short time. So I'm not sure which of these are still available, and I'll explain why. The first one is Frank Laumer wrote the book in the 1960s about Dade battle reenactment, and we have him to thank for everyone who's written a book on the Second Seminole War since then. It's called Massacre, and it's written like a novel, but it's well researched. And of course, Frank, in the past 30 years, he was saying that, of course, it's a battle, not a massacre, but that was the old term given to it at the time. And about, I don't know, about 1990 or so, he published the book Dade's Last Command, a painting by Jackson Walker on the front, University Press of Florida. And this was updated version of the Massacre book. A few things corrected, added in, portraits they found. And that might still be available. Now there's a third book he wrote about Dade's battle. It's a novel on Ransom Clark. And let me see. The book is called Nobody's Hero, and that's the cover of that one. I think looks like Jackson Walker did a special painting for that. And that was printed by Pineapple Press. And it's listed on the website, but it's not listed for sale. So I'm not sure if it's still available or not. I've seen it on Amazon and other third-hand booksellers. Now, I'm probably the only one who's been to Ransom Clark's grave in New York State wearing Seminole garb. That was back in 2006. This is a book that just had a small publication. It's on the other survivor of Dade battle, Private Joseph Sprague of Vermont, the last soldier survivor of Dade's massacre in Florida by Nathan White. And he's incorrect on that, is that he died before Ransom Clark. Here is a book that it's available at the Micanopy Historical Society Museum near Gainesville in Micanopy, Florida. The Battle of Micanopy. It's just about a 12-page book, pamphlet, and by Tom Brady, I think, but you can buy a copy there at the Micanopy Historical Society. This was back in 1987, the Battle of Okeechobee, Florida Heritage Press by Bill Steele. Another early, I think that's Guy Labrie who did that painting, I'm not sure. But anyway, this is probably hard to find now because it's been over 30 years. About the Battle of Okeechobee, not a very long book, but a good one. This is also printed a while back, The Battle of Loxahatchee River in the Seminole War by John Wolfe. That can probably be found locally in the Palm Beach area. It says Loxahatchee Historical Museum. I may have gotten that at the Elliott House down there. This one I bought off of eBay, Guns Across the Loxahatchee by Richard Procyk. Also published, I think, back in about 1990. And he does good examining the battle, some other things he wasn't so good with, but given the time, you didn't have the internet to research. You had to go in the archives and look up cards, so I can understand the difficulty researching a major battle in the Seminole War, which people just don't know about. Here is a book that I just published. It's called Elektra Ambush, Bloody Battles of the Second Seminole War. And I'll put a link down in the description. Now this one is about what happened in the Seminole War in Elektra County at the time. I have several different battles that I described that nobody else has ever written about. The ambush at Fort King in 1840, several scouts around the area that go around Lake Griffin, and also I have the battle involving Lieutenant Sanderson near Micanopy, where he is killed in May 1840. Then I have the Battle of Martin's Point, where Mrs. Montgomery is killed. Next, this is a book I purchased at the Sanford or Seminole County Historical Museum, From Fort Melon to Baghdad, a timeline of evolution of the 2nd Dragoons. It's a small pamphlet, but it has some good information. You may be able to still find that one at the museum in Sanford. Of course, I mentioned previously about this book. This is dealing with the 2nd Dragoons from Everglades to Canyon with the 2nd U.S. Cavalry. So anyway, you can see that in the description. This is a book that's been out for a while, but it's reprinted and it's still available. It just has a different cover, Swamp Sailors, George Bucker. It is probably available through the State Museum, and it's in paperback. This is just an old hardcover copy. It's about the Army and Navy operations in South Florida during the 2nd and 3rd Seminole War. And this is a book by Dave Ekardt, U.S. Marines in the 2nd Creek and 2nd Seminole War. He's been doing a lot of research on the Marines. And see if we can put this up without getting the glare back. He's in Tampa, and sometimes he does living history at the Tampa History Museum, and you may see him there portraying a Marine from the 2nd Seminole War, and you can get a copy of the book from him there. And he also might sell it online as well, but that's a pretty good one. It's not a long book, but the information is real good. Okay, there's probably more out there that I don't have or don't have available, but that's it for now.